Welcome, brothers and sisters, to our Lenten series entitled Junk in the Yard. We are discussing the sin of lust. And another signs of the presence of this vice is a behavior of making one's own body an idol, an idolatry of one's own body. I don't have to go into excessive explanation that we live in the age of the idolatry of one's own body. Everywhere we look, it's so critical how you manifest yourself, what body you have. It is a very much self-centered, narcissistic projection of one's own ego. I would like you to understand me correctly. A proper, rightly balanced care of one's own body is important because it is the temple of the Holy Spirit. However, in today's world, there is so much care given to the body when it comes to fitness, when it comes to diets, how one's own skin looks like. Some time ago, I had a conversation with a person who revealed the amount of money she spends on a variety of cosmetics, getting herself into debt. And when I asked why, she replied, to feel good, to be seen, even though it brings me to debt. Anything is needed to embellish, beautify, improve one's own body, to be seen and to feel good, as this lady told me. All the imperfections are removed because in comparison with those who are in the media, on TV, when a person compares himself or herself, will look inferior. We don't realize that comparing ourselves with those who seem to be so spotless and perfect in the social media, on TV, will lead us into sadness because maybe we don't even realize they dedicate their entire lives for that purpose. Even the models have their pictures being specifically edited for the magazines, for the media, and all sorts of presentations. When we pursue this excessive care and obsession with our bodies, then at the end, there is a need of possessing, of clinging to and nourishing one's own ego. Through this process of constant embellishing and making sure it is more beautiful and perfect, there is a growth of a need of possessing. Because looking at other individuals' bodies, you want to have the same. It will generate a lustful behavior that will bring a person to possess, to use and abuse, to have what the other person owns and I may not have. This obsession is rooted in narcissism that will generate inner loneliness. I'm never good enough. I'm never satisfied. So there is a temptation to self-gratified in the area of sexuality. And that's why the excessive love and care given to one's own body will lead to disordered sexuality. As if that would not be enough, this narcissistic obsession for the perfection of one's own body will bring to self-display, manifestation, all sorts of perversion that today is omnipresent in the media, on the internet, where less clothes is visible, more nudity, only to attract attention so that a person may get a lot of likes and comments. How beautiful, how wonderful, how great. Look how empty the heart of that person is who is able to sell on dignity to get a little bit of approval from the unknown individuals on the internet. God provides the divine means of dealing with this idolatry of one's own body, and that is modesty in our way of dressing, in our conversations, in our behavior. Modesty. I'm impressed how many people I met who don't need to show off their bodies, and yet their behavior, their glance, their faces show serenity and peace and innermost beauty, and that is sufficient to have a joy and inner peace with one's own self. Modesty is linked with another important word, which is responsibility for one's own body, which means as a temple of the Holy Spirit, and how we look at the body of other people and what we think about them. If we see in others the working of God's grace, although a person may not self-respect, we are called to deal with the other person with a lot of respect and responsibility, as we are not only responsible for our own bodies, but also for the bodies of other people, which are holy, although others may not know about it. Today, as we begin this next day of reflection on those capital sins, I would like us to reflect on how we respect our own bodies, how we treat the bodies of other people, what we think about them in terms of love or lust, in terms of using or in terms of loving and respecting and looking for what is good for the other person. What is our approach to this sacredness of human sexuality God has given us? God bless you, brothers and sisters, as we continue our Lenten series.